Okay, we're still in section 10 of the first essay on pages 36 to 39. And on page 38, Nietzsche goes in a little bit deeper to the contrast between the nobles or the masters and the slaves. And he says, while the nobleman lives in trust and openness with himself, the man of resentment is neither upright, nor naive, nor honest and straightforward with himself. His soul squints. His spirit loves hiding places, secret paths, and back doors. Everything covert entices him in his world, his security, his refreshment. He understands how to keep silent, how not to forget. This will be important later in the second essay. Namely, memory has something to do with this. How not to forget, how to wait, how to be provisionally self-deprecating and humble. A race of such men of resentment is bound to become eventually cleverer than any noble race. It will also honor cleverness to a far greater degree. Now, this is really important. Nietzsche seems to be suggesting that while we can, as much as we can psychologize about master and slave morality now and say, oh, am I thinking from a perspective of weakness or strength? Nietzsche seems to say, genealogically or historically, this resentment was what created the human intellect. He seems to suggest this, and it would go along with his idea that being or rationality and rational categories are that which fix the world as a response to resentment against the chaos of the world. But Nietzsche is saying that the resentful, the weak person is just smarter. They're clever. They had to be. They had to learn how to do this. One way to think about this is the way Nietzsche talks about the distinction. Now, I'm not saying I agree with this, but he seems to think that one way that this played itself out historically is the difference between men and women. And he thinks women are, frankly, smarter than men precisely because of their historical oppression, you could say, or their position of weakness in the grand scheme of human history. You could say in the grand scheme of patriarchy, women had to figure out how to, outwit men who were physically stronger and therefore oppressive. And I don't know, it's just something to think about. He seems to suggest this all over the place. I don't want to go too deep into that, but if you've ever seen the movie, now it's about 15 years old. It's called My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And in there, the mother suggests that, let the man think he's the head of the family, but the woman is really the neck, and she points the head wherever it wants to go. Now, I don't take that how you will, but I think what it suggests is that, there's a sense in which people who are in power lose their sense of cleverness, that it's only by being oppressed and weak for a long time that you actually learn to outsmart and outwit people. And he thinks the intellect and cleverness developed out of slave morality. Okay?